Hey, Brook Scholars, welcome back to Remote Learning with me, Mr. Scott. Good morning. How are you? Happy Tuesday. I've got a really great story for us to read today, and today we're going to talk all about dialogue. Dialogue, yes. Do you remember what dialogue is? Oh, yeah. What is it then? That's right. The words that the characters in a story say to one another when they're talking, when they're having a conversation, a discussion. And then how do we know that we're seeing dialogue? Like what does the author use to show us dialogue? Tell me. Quotation marks, of course. The author will use quotation marks to show us that a character is talking. And then sometimes, excuse me, and then sometimes the author will use a speaker tag. Help me, said Mr. Scott. The said Mr. Scott part that comes after the words that the character said is called the speaker tag. Say speaker tag with me. Ready? One, two, three, speaker tag. Very good. Speaker tags are great because they tell you not only who is talking, but they also tell you how that person is saying those words, right? And that can give us a clue about how the characters are feeling in a situation. For example, if we had, help me, said Mr. Scott, that would be a regular, the said part of the speaker tag there, said Mr. Scott. That says, okay, the character was just like that. It could say, help me, whispered Mr. Scott. And then you should actually read that dialogue differently. You should read it, if you're reading out loud, you should read it the way that the author wants that character to say it. So it would be, help me, whispered Mr. Scott. Or, help me, bellowed Mr. Scott. Bellowed is a great verb. Bellowed meaning said it really loud, shouting. Help me! Bellowed Mr. Scott. That would be a way that you would read that dialogue if you were reading it out loud. I can tell you this much. I can tell you that this is a fiction story, and I can tell you that you're going to meet some really great characters in here. And I can also tell you that there is going to be quite a bit of dialogue. So we're going to have to pay attention to who is talking, who they're talking to, how they're saying the words that they're saying, and then how they are feeling based on the speaker tag and the dialogue. All right, so let's get ready to jump right in. Here we go. Can do, Jenny Archer. I have some exciting news, class, said Mrs. Pike. It was almost lunchtime, and Jenny Archer was starving. She drew a piece of apple pie in her notebook. Sometimes Mrs. Pike's exciting news wasn't very exciting. Once, Mrs. Pike had said it would be exciting to watch a film strip called Tommy Tooth and the Whole Truth About Teeth, but it wasn't. She had said it would be exciting to study how wheat is turned into bread, but it wasn't. Jenny drew a scoop of ice cream on the apple pie. We're going to have a contest, said Mrs. Pike. Jenny put down her pencil. She pushed her glasses back on her nose. The whole school will take part, Mrs. Pike went on. We're going to collect empty tin cans to sell to a scrap metal dealer. We'll use the money to buy a video camcorder and a TV monitor for the school. Some of you saw it, right? Right back over here. Did you see it? Did you see that little one right after camcorder? Yeah. Camcorder is kind of an old-fashioned, well, we'll get to that. But did you see the little one there? The little one telling you that you might not know what a video camcorder is. And so the author wanted to make sure that you knew what that piece of equipment was. So they put that little one there. And if we scroll down to the bottom of the page, we can see that that one corresponds to a footnote. A footnote, yes, a footnote giving us more information about the words that are in here. It's kind of like a little dictionary explaining exactly what a word means. So the word we're looking for is camcorder. There's a little one there, and that one matches up with the one down here, and it explains to us that a video camcorder is a small device that is both a camera and a video recorder that records picture and sound. Now, of course, these days, you don't really see very many video camcorders around because, of course, everyone's got phones and you can just take video on your phone. But this used to be an exciting piece of technology. This story is a little bit older. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to take that information now, put it back into the dialogue that Mrs. Pike, the teacher, is saying. The whole school will take part, Mrs. Pike went on. We're going to collect empty tin cans to sell to a scrap metal dealer. We'll use the money to buy a video camcorder and a TV monitor for the school. What kind of a contest is that? Asked Clifton Stern. Just collecting cans? The class that collects the most cans, said Mrs. Pike, will use the camera first. We will make our own class movie. You could all be stars. Me, a movie star, Jenny thought. Now that was exciting. She pictured herself accepting an Academy Award. She would say, "It all started when I was in a little school. The person in the class who brings in the most cans will direct the first movie," Mrs. Pike finished. Oh, wow. Directing a movie might be even better than starring in one. The director could make up the whole story. She would choose the actors and tell everybody what to do. Jenny loved to make up stories, and she was good at telling people what to do. She was sure she'd be a great director. The whole class was buzzing now. Jenny forgot she was starving. She looked over at her friend Beth. Beth's eyes were bright. She thought this was a great idea, too. "You can be the star of my movie," Jenny whispered to her. "What do you mean, your movie?" Beth asked. "When I win the contest," Jenny said. "What if I win the contest?" Beth said. "But I have to win," answered Jenny. "I've always wanted to make a movie." "Since when?" "Well, I just realized it now," Jenny admitted. "But don't you think I'd make a good director?" "I think I might make a good director," Beth said. "Why should you be the director?" Beth was one of Jenny's two best friends. Jenny didn't want to fight with her, but she really wanted to win this contest. She just had to direct the class movie. Yet, someday, when she was a famous movie maker, she would still want Beth to be her friend. "Let's not fight," Jenny said. "We'd both be good directors." "You're right," Beth grinned. "We won't fight. Let's just say, may the best can collector win." Jenny shook Beth's hand. "May the best can collector win," she repeated. "As long as it's me," she told herself. So, a wonderful story, or at least part of a story here. And just before we stop and think about this, I really want to go back and talk to you about this dialogue right here. We've got two characters. We've got Jenny and her best friend, Beth, and they're talking to each other, and they're having a bit of an argument. Let's see what happened here. "You could be the star of my movie," Jenny whispered to her. So, do you see how I'm changing the way that the dialogue is read based on the speaker tag? Jenny could have said this in a very, very different way, and we'd have to change the way that we read it out loud. But because it says in the speaker tag, Jenny whispered to her, you have to read the dialogue in a particular way. "What do you mean your movie?" Beth asked. "When I win the contest," Jenny said. "What if I win the contest?" Beth said. "But I have to win," answered Jenny. "I've always wanted to make a movie." Now, this part right here is really interesting. Let's talk about paragraph 20 for a minute. It says, "But I have to win," answered Jenny. "I've always wanted to make a movie." Now, this is what's called continuation dialogue. When you have continuation dialogue, the character says something. We can pay attention to these quotation marks here. The quotation marks tell us that a character is speaking and is using dialogue. But this is interesting because it has part of what the character says. Then in the middle here, you've got the speaker tag. And then just after this, we know it's the same character that's talking. So we call it continuation dialogue because it starts here and it continues after the speaker tag. So answer Jenny is the speaker tag, and then the same character, Jenny, is also going on to say, "I've always wanted to make a movie." So you can see the quotation marks around this part of the dialogue, and then after the speaker tag, you get more over here. Things get really interesting down here when in paragraph 21, it just says, "Since when?" Now, authors don't always have to use speaker tags, and sometimes they really just want the characters to be talking to one another. And the speaker tags kind of break up that conversation sometimes. So, "since when" doesn't even have a speaker tag. Now, that's not a computer mistake. That's not a Mr. Scott mistake. That's not an author mistake. When the author was writing this, they really wanted to make sure that the characters were talking back and forth to each other. So here we've got, I've always wanted to make a movie. Since when? Well, I just realized it now, Jenny admitted. So who said since when? Which character? Was it Beth? Was it Jenny? Who said it? Right, it was Beth. How do we know it was Beth? If there's no speaker tag, you can't prove it. Aha, but there is a way that we can figure it out. And that is because each of these pieces of dialogue gets their own paragraph. So this little space here, this break between paragraphs 20 and 21, that space there tells us that it's no longer Jenny. If Jenny was still talking and if Jenny was asking since when, this would be back here in paragraph 20, and it wouldn't be in paragraph 21. So we know for sure that this is Beth speaking right there. Good. Okay, so there's some more continuation dialogue happens in 22 and 23. Well, I just realized it now, Jenny admitted, but don't you think I'd make a good director? And then more continuation dialogue. I think I might make a good director, Beth said. Why should you be the director? So some really wonderful back and forth conversation happening between those two characters, and the author is using a number of different devices and different ways of showing which character is speaking. We've got different speaker tags here, we've got continuation dialogue, and we've got these paragraph breaks that tell us that a new character is talking. Excellent. Okay, time to stop and think about what is happening in this story. What's going on? What's happening? Okay, so we're at school. Setting, start with the setting. We're at school, and Mrs. Pike is teaching, and she's telling the class that they're going to have a tin can collecting contest. Everyone is going to bring in tin cans. They're going to collect all the tin cans, take all those tin cans to a scrap metal dealer, sell all of those tin cans, take the money, buy a video recorder, a camcorder, and then the class that brings in the most tin cans will get to shoot a movie. And some people will be movie stars, and there's going to be one person who's going to be the director, and the person directing is going to be the person who brings in the most amount of tin cans. Very, very exciting. Everyone in the class is very, very excited. Jenny is particularly excited because now she's imagining herself winning an Academy Award, which is one of those kind of statuettes. It's gold, and for doing an amazing job in a movie. That's how you win one of those. So she's imagining that one day in the future she will win an Academy Award because she was able to either star or direct. She really wants to direct the class movie. And then she leans over and she starts having a conversation with her BFF Beth. And BFF Beth is saying, hey, you're going to make the movie, I'm going to make the movie. And so they start to have this argument. But then Jenny, this is so smart. This character then notices, wait a minute, I'm about to get into a huge argument with my best friend over directing a movie. And you know what? Even if I become a famous filmmaker, I'm still going to want to be friends with Beth. So then the two girls agree that they'll just see who wins the contest. And they'll both just work really, really hard to try and be the one to win. However, this last line, this is the last point I want to make here. This last line I think is really, really, really important. It says, as long as it's me, she told herself. So that's Jenny telling herself, I want to be best friends with Jill, but I also really, 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 really want to win this contest. Okay, good. Whew. It's not a terribly long story. It's only 2 pages, and a lot of it is dialogue, which is quite short. But I tell you, in those 29 paragraphs, a lot of things happen. So it's very, very important as readers that we stop and we think about what we are learning, what's happening in the story. But now that we've done that, we're ready to tackle some questions. Let's see what's going on. Number 1, look at this chart. Here is a chart. Mrs. Pike tells the class about a contest. This arrow signaling means then, the next event. These things in order. There's a sequence, okay? So we start off, the first thing that happened was Miss Pike tells the class about a contest. Then Jenny imagines herself as a movie actress. Now, in between Mrs. Pike telling the class about the contest, there were other events. There was other dialogue. There were other things. But what they're trying to say is, okay, if this was the first thing and then some other stuff happened and then this happened, what happened here? What happened third? Finally, it says Jenny and Beth agree not to fight. Well, that was one of the last things that happened in the story that we read. What goes in here? Which detail from the story belongs in this empty box? It has to be an event that took place between Jenny imagining herself as a movie actress and Jenny and Beth agree not to fight. So which is it? Is it A, Jenny remembers watching a film strip? Jenny makes a drawing in her notebook. Jenny tells Beth she wants to make a movie, and Jenny and Beth shake hands with each other. Which event goes in there? What do you think? Yeah, it's C. Absolutely right. Okay, now we can get that. Jenny tells Beth that she wants to make a movie right over here. I'm going to mark this up. You could be the star of my movie. There's the evidence that proves that C is the correct answer. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit differently today because, of course, we're on Seesaw, and this is the second day of reading and doing some writing work. So I have here a pencil, and I have here a piece of paper, and today we're going to do this work together. So everyone knows exactly how to do these reading assignments, okay? As you may remember from yesterday's video, we're going to start by writing our name in the top left-hand corner. Go ahead and do that now. If you need to get a pencil and paper first, pause the video, go get the stuff, bring it back here. I'll wait. Got it? Okay. Name. Name top left-hand corner. My name is Mr. Scott. Don't write my name. Write your name. I'm me. You're you. Be you. Everyone else is already taken. Oscar Wilde. Date. Today's date, of course, is the 7th. So you're going to go over to the other side. We're going to go top right over here. Okay. And we're going to do today's date. Now that is 4/7/20. And then we need in the middle, nice and big and bold, we need to have the title. Can Do Jenny Archer. There it is right there. You copy it down. I'm going to do the same. Right in the middle, right in the top. Not too big, not too small. Now remember, the word can doesn't usually get a capital letter, but this is the title. So we need to make sure that we have a capital C for can, a capital D for do, and then put a comma just as it has in the title, capital J for Jenny. Now, Jenny is a proper noun, of course, so that would get a capital letter. And then we've got Archer, which is a capital A, Rcher. I like to underline my titles. I, think you should probably do the same. It just gives your reader a really good idea of what's happening. So this is what we've got so far. All right. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We just said, and we found evidence to support the answer, that the answer to number one is C. So I'm going to go over to the left-hand side. I'm going to put 1 period and then C. It's looking a little something like that. Good. Okay, we're in this together. Here we go. Ready for question 2? I am. Good. Let's go. 2. Read this sentence from paragraph 15. I love it when they tell you where the answer is. The whole class was buzzing now. Buzzing? What? The whole class was buzzing now? Ooh, all right. This sentence shows that students in the class were eager to go to lunch, nervous about collecting cans, curious about the details of the contest, or excited about Mrs. Pike's news. Now, I feel like some of you may have a pretty good idea of which one is the right answer. But remember, we're getting into the habit of always going back and finding that evidence and underlining. Luckily, it tells us where to go. Paragraph 15. Thanks. Anyway, here is what it says. The whole class was buzzing now. Jenny forgot she was starving. She looked over at her friend Beth. Beth's eyes were bright. She thought this was a great idea, too. Aha! So the class was buzzing, which is the correct answer. There, the class is eager to go to lunch, nervous about collecting cans, curious about the details of the contest, or excited about Mrs. Pike's news. What's the right answer? D, of course. Well done. D is the correct answer. Oh, I didn't circle C. Not that it matters. Okay. Yeah, D is the right answer. If you are buzzing, it means that you are full of excitement, and the kids are very excited to do this. Back to the pencil and paper, okay? Underneath 1, you're going to write number 2, of course, and then we said the answer to this was D. So now we've got this happening. Very similar to the work that we did yesterday. If yours doesn't look like mine, please make it happen right now. On we go to question three. Question three, question three, question three, and question three. Read this dictionary entry, okay? Admit. It's a verb. Number one, to accept as a member of a group. Two, to allow to go into a place. To allow to use as proof in a courtroom, or to agree that something is true. Wow, you can use the word admit in many, many different ways, huh? So, which meaning most closely matches the word admitted as it is used in paragraph 22? Okay, back we go to paragraph 22. Well, I just realized it now, Jenny admitted. But don't you think I'd make a great director? Okay, so in this part of the story, Jenny and Beth are having their big conversation. And at this point, Beth has already said, well, I'm going to win the contest. Jenny's going to say, well, I'm going to win the contest. And she's admitting it. Well, I just realized it now. So what is she admitting to? That's the question. Not only is this, we need more evidence than this. Let's go back a couple of lines here. It's a good strategy for when you're trying to figure out what a word means. What if when I win the contest, Jenny said. What if I win the contest? Beth said. But I have to win, answered Jenny. I've always wanted to make a movie. Since when? Well, I just realized it now, Jenny admitted. Oh. So when Jenny said, I've always wanted to make a movie, that means, I've spent my entire life dreaming of making this happen. And then Beth's like, since when? Like, when did you first start being so desperate to make a movie? And Jenny says, well, okay, I just realized it now. So she's admitted to not really lying, but, she wasn't exactly telling the truth when she said, I've always wanted to make a movie. No. Okay, so she's admitting to something. She's saying that what she said wasn't exactly the truth. How does that connect to the meaning? Well, let's see. To accept as a member of the group, to allow to go into a place, to allow to use as proof in a courtroom, to agree that something is true. Which meaning is most similar to the way that the word admitted is used in that part of the story? What do you think? It's D. You got it, my friends. Well done. Yes, meaning for. Meaning for says to agree that something is true. So she's saying, okay, all right, I just realized it now, so I'm telling the truth now. Well done. Now, back we go to our pencil and paper. Underneath 2, write yourself a 3. And the answer is D, 3D. Like the glasses you get when you go to the movie sometimes. Anyway, here's how it's looking. Is yours looking like mine? Hopefully yours is a little bit neater than mine. I'm sure it will be. Number 4, here we go. Number 4, read these sentences from paragraphs 28 and 29. Jenny shook Beth's hand. May the best can collector win, she repeated. As long as it's me, she told herself. These sentences show that Jenny believes that Beth will be a good movie director, will do what is needed in order to win, likes to encourage her friends to participate in school activities, or knows that Beth will not keep her promise to remain friends. Which of these best shows proves the dialogue, let's say there? Did you say B? You're exactly right. Now here we already have the evidence that that was a terrible circle. Here we already have the evidence that we need. It proves that Jenny will do whatever it takes in order to win the contest, as long as it's me. Underneath 3, please write number 4. That is B, and so now our paper is looking a little like this. Goody, goody, goody. All right. Rolling right along. Question number 5. Read the following list. Why Jenny wants to be a director. She can create a story. Number 2 is blank. Number 3, she can tell everybody what to do. So there was a third reason that Jenny was excited to direct the movie, not just star in it, not just be one of the actors, to direct it. What was the third reason? Was it she can make new friends in class? She can draw pictures to use in the movie. She can earn an award for her movie, or she can choose who she wants to be the actors. Let's go back and find those reasons. She can create a story, tell everybody what to do. All right. Now, this was right in the beginning, I think. Wasn't it just after Miss Pike had said the whole business? Me, a movie star. So this is when she's saying, I'm going to be a movie star. But then Mrs. Pike says, hey, person brings in the most cans gets to direct. So this is it. I think it's going to be in paragraph 13. Let's read and find out. Wow, directing a movie might be even better than starring in one. The director could make up the whole story. Bing! She would choose the actors, and tell everybody what to do. Jenny loved to make up stories, and she was good at telling people what to do. Right, there it is. Good old paragraph 13. Unlucky for some, but lucky for us. Okay, coming down here, we're going to see that. Which one is it? Is it she can make new friends in class, she can draw pictures to use in the movie, she can earn an award for her movie, or she can choose who she wants to be the actors? Which one was it? D, of course. Well done. She can choose who she wants to be the actors. That was the third reason as to why Jenny was excited to direct the movie. All right, so that's number 5. Come back to your pencil and paper. We got number 5, and we're going to do D for that one. Okay, doc. So we got a nice little stack of answers here, correct answers, I might add, because we went back and found our evidence. Oh, yeah. All right. Where are we at? Let's go down to number 6. Ooh, summary. Okay, so we've got to take everything that we discovered in this story, try and put it into a couple of sentences. Let's see which one is the best summary. Now, wait a minute, hang on. What should be included here? The characters, the problem, and then what, if anything, the solution was, right? Possibly the setting. Let's go. Jenny's teacher tells the class that she has some exciting news. Jenny starts to draw a picture in her notebook. Her teacher then tells the class about a can collecting contest. Jenny and Beth like the idea. Or B. Jenny's class will collect cans for a contest at their school. The student who collects the most cans will win the contest. Jenny and her friend Beth are both determined to win. C. Jenny wants to be the director of the class movie. She says she has always wanted to direct a movie and thinks she will be good at it. She asks her friend Beth if she would like to be in the movie. Or is it D? Jenny is happy when her teacher tells the class about a contest. The whole school will collect empty tin cans to sell to a scrap metal dealer. The class that collects the most cans will win the contest. One of those is the best summary. Which one do you think it is? B. Yes, absolutely right. It talks about the can collecting contest for the school and that Jenny and Beth are both interested. And the student that wins the most cans collects the contest. And then here, this part right here, this actually is the most important part. They're both determined to win. They're both going to really, really work hard at this. So, well done. Pencil and paper. Underneath 5, you're going to write 6, and you need to put a B. Looking a little something like that, team. How's your paper shaping up? Is it good? Bet it is. Question 7, last one on this page. Here we go. Jenny decides that she shouldn't argue with Beth because she does not want to make Mrs. Pike angry, wants to share the role of director, does not want to lose Beth as a friend, or thinks that they can both make a movie. What do you think? Which one? Well, let's go back and see if you're right. Right here, after all that wonderful dialogue in paragraph 24, it says Beth was one of Jenny's 2 best friends. Jenny didn't want to fight with her, but she really wanted to win this contest. She just had to direct the class movie. She didn't want to fight with her. Okay. Let's see now. Back we go to 7. Which one makes sense? Does not want to make Mrs. Pike angry, wants to share the role of director, does not want to lose Beth as a friend, or thinks that they can both make a movie. What do you think? Yeah! It is good old C. Does not want. Oh, that's a mess. Blah, let's just color this all in. Does not want to lose Beth as a friend. Wants to win the contest. Don't get me wrong. Wants to direct the movie, but also has this best friend and doesn't want to lose this best friend over the contest. So C, 7 and C. Here we are. We're at this stage. Good. Goody goody gumdrops. Cool. Next is number. Oh, geez. Look at this. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Mr. Scott and technology. Oil and water. Okay. Last multiple choice question. Here goes. Why does Jenny start drawing in her notebook when Mrs. Pike says that she has news for the class? Jenny thinks the discussion will not be interesting. Jenny is too busy thinking about the contest to listen. Jenny is too upset with her best friend Beth to listen, or Jenny does not like being told what to do. Which one of those makes sense? So this is right back in the early part of the story. Paragraph 2. It was almost lunchtime, and Jenny Archer was starving. She drew a piece of apple pie in her notebook. Sometimes Mrs. Pike's exciting news wasn't very exciting. Okay, let's see if we can use that as evidence to support our answer to question number 8. Jenny thinks the discussion will not be interesting. Jenny is too busy thinking about the contest to listen. Jenny is too upset with her best friend Beth to listen, or Jenny does not like being told what to do. What's the right answer? It's A. Yeah, sometimes the exciting news, that Mrs. Pike thinks is exciting, isn't very exciting. So A is the correct answer. Oh, I've done it again. I've put another dot here. Get out of there, dot. Bye-bye, dot. Peter Reynolds would like that dot. 8A. So back we go to our pencil and our paper. Looks like that. That's the end of our multiple choice. Your page should look just like mine. Very good, my friends. Now, we come down to our new and terribly, terribly exciting short answer. Now, a couple of things about the short answer questions. You do not need to write them in paragraph form, okay? Short answer means 1 or 2 sentences should be enough to answer these questions. We're going to write it out on here on the paper. I'm going to do that with you today, just so we're all clear on exactly how to do this type of work. Here we go. Describe the problem in the story. Now, when I'm getting started writing my answer, the question is not on this page, and I'm not going to have to, I don't need to write out the question. But what I do have to do is make sure that I'm using some of the words from the question to begin my answer. So I could have anyone, even if they've never even read this story, take this paper that I'm going to do the writing on and read, and they'll know what question I'm answering based on the words from the question that I put into the answer. For example, if it says describe the problem in this story, I'm going to use the words the problem in this story is. That's the way we need to answer these short answer questions. So I'm going to write number 9 under number 8. The problem in this story is. I got those words right from the question. There we are. There's the beginning of my first sentence. I'm already starting to think that it's probably going to take me at least 2 sentences to answer this. Let's finish up the first one. The problem in this story is. Now, what was the problem? Oh, yeah, it was between the friends, wasn't it? The problem in this story is that Jenny and Beth, don't forget a capital B for Beth, another proper noun there. Jenny and Beth are arguing about becoming the director of a class movie. All right. Now, I know that might not be easy to read. Now, listen, if you decide that you want to answer this question and use your very own sentences and use your very own words, that is absolutely fine, my friend. I just want to make sure that everyone is perfectly clear on how to complete these reading assignments going forward on Seesaw. So there we have it. The problem in this story is that Jenny and Beth are arguing about becoming the director of a class movie. You know what? I've said it all. I've talked about the two characters. I've said what the problem was. I've said that they were arguing, and I said what they're arguing about. I could maybe break up that very long sentence into two sentences, but in this case, I've managed to put all the information that I need in one sentence. And so that is sufficient. That is enough for a short answer. Let's move on to the next one. How did Ginny's feelings change in this story? Well, of course, we had a whole bunch of feelings change for Jenny Archer in this story. Now, remember, if you're ever asked to describe a change, my friends, you first need to say what it was like before, so in the beginning. And then you can talk about what happened to change those feelings and how those feelings are different towards the end. So, how did Jenny's feelings change in this story? Once again, I'm going to use some of those words from the question to begin my answer. So everyone who ever reads my paper knows what the question is that I'm answering. How did Jenny's feelings change in this story? Jenny's feelings changed in this story. Don't forget the apostrophe, Jenny's feelings changed in this story. I've gone a little bit fast there because I didn't want to make this video too long, but that's what it should look like. That is the beginning of the answer to question 10. Now, I think yesterday when we also had a question about feelings changing, I wrote down in the beginning. But this time around, I think I'm going to use my my transition words. Okay. Shout out to people that do this. There's quite a few of you out there in your writing where you put first, comma, or next, or then. It's a great way of explaining the order of things. And in this case, we need to explain how the change happened. So I'm going to put for my second sentence now. I'm going to put first, capital F. First, well, let's think. How was Jenny feeling in the beginning? Well, she was actually bored and hungry. I know that she was really excited for lunch and that she wasn't really interested in what Mrs. Pike was talking about. That was in the beginning. So, first, Jenny felt bored. I'm so bored. In class. Show you that. There we go. Jenny's feelings changed in this story. First, Jenny felt bored in class. Then, and this is how we're describing the change, remember, then Jenny was excited to win the contest. Read that for you one more time. Jenny's feelings changed in this story, period. First, comma, Jenny felt bored in class, period. Then Jenny was excited to win the contest. So this is exactly how your work should be completed each and every day, my friends. Looking good. Now that you've done that, I'm going to ask you to take a picture and make sure that you can actually read the words. Some people are posting pictures, and teachers are having a hard time really being able to read exactly what is on your paper. And that's a shame because we know that you guys are working hard. So when you take the picture, make sure that, I mean, we want to see your beautiful faces as well. But what's more important here is that we're making sure that we're doing this work and showing that we're doing completing all of these assignments. Make sure you get a really clear picture of your work so that we can give you shout outs and celebrate it and get it submitted on Seesaw. That's it, my friends. I know this video was a little bit long, but I really wanted to make sure that everyone was perfectly clear on how they should go about completing these reading assignments with me, Mr. Scott, the ultimate champion, every day on the world's greatest YouTube channel with all these second grade teachers who love you and miss you dearly. Go forth and have a wonderful day. Be kind. Read, read, read. Read a book. I've already read all my books. Read them again. Some of my favorite books I've read 10, 20 times. And every time I read them, I either learn new facts and take in new information, or I get to revisit characters that I absolutely love, and I notice different things about how they act and the things that they say. Be on the lookout for dialogue. That's good stuff. Always important to make sure you know who's talking, what they're saying, and how they are saying it, right? Those speaker tags can be really helpful. All right. I will see you tomorrow, my friends. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.